Welcome to Friday Virtual Networkers. I am so glad to see you all this morning. I hope everybody's had a great week full of wonderful things. We're going to get started here in just a moment. I'm going to let just a few more folks in out of the waiting room, and then we'll get started with our 30-second introductions. Just a reminder, ladies, please 30 seconds or less, time yourself if needed so that you know. We want to make sure we have plenty of time for Amber's presentation today and for our announcements at the end. So let me just get Laura Templeton in here and then we will get started. So we're going to do 30-second introductions. Kelly, do you mind kicking us off, and then it'll be Amber's turn. Kelly, go ahead.
Certainly. How many of you are taking or have family members taking prescription or over-the-counter medications on a daily basis? Are those meds truly healing, or are they masking your symptoms? I'm Kelly Lutman, a functional medicine health coach, and you may think it's odd when I say that I view symptoms as gifts. A lot of my clients look at me with that weird look, and so are you sure? But what your body is sending messages, and I help translate those messages to find what building blocks are needed for your body to heal. I help you pursue wellness because health is wealth.
Awesome. Thanks, Kelly. Amber, then Donna.
Good morning. Have you ever encountered a mean girl or a queen bee or somebody that made you feel not in your right person or self? My name is Dr. Amber Tishner, and I talk about female relationships. I specifically focus on mean girl rivalries with the intent to look at that dynamic and flip it to empower women to promote collaboration over competition. I have a new book coming out, and I am the owner of 2B Coaching and Consulting.
Wonderful. Congratulations on the upcoming book. Donna, then Judy.
Did you know that a comprehensive financial plan does not only include details about your money? A good financial plan includes a complete estate plan. So if something were to happen to you or your spouse, everything can be found in one place. So our team of trusted resources here at Sefton Financial, we help you create a plan that provides you with peace of mind you deserve. Do you want peace of mind for your future? Schedule a coffee conversation today. Donna Kendrick, your financial planner at Sefton Financial in Winmore, PA, now licensed in Florida. Thanks, girls.
Ooh, Donna's good license in Florida, ladies. That's awesome. Judy, then Tracy.
I am Judy Kane, and my business is Aligned Consciousness. I help people rewrite subconscious, self-limiting beliefs. People come to me for three main reasons. They come either because they are feeling uneasy about certain aspects of their life, or they're not hitting conscious goals, or they've got physical symptoms of stress. Judy Kane, Aligned Consciousness.
Thank you, Judy. Tracy, then Margaret.
Happy Friday, ladies. I am Tracy Earhart with Judy Glenn Incorporated. And as a promotional marketing specialist, we help our customers connect to prospective business, as well as staying connected to their current clients through the use of logoed merchandise. Letting them know who you are and what you do is a key to success. I'm Tracy with Judy Glenn Incorporated.
Awesome. Thanks, Tracy. Margaret, then Susan Driscoll.
Good morning, everyone. Margaret Martin here in delightful Dunedin, Florida, on the west side of Tampa Bay. And you know some women who are in the process of just trying to figure out what the next step is in their life. They may be successful in their business. Perhaps kids have gone off to college. And what am I going to do with all this extra time? And so I work with women in their 50s, 60s, and 70s. And sometimes it's even those women who have financially retired because they've worked with Donna Kendrick, but they haven't planned their life. So I help them redesign their life so the best of their life is the rest of their life. You can find me at margaretmartin.com.
Awesome. Thanks, Margaret. Susan, then Mary Beth.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Susan Driscoll in Toronto, and I'm an intuitive mindset coach. I work with women who know they're meant for more, and even though they're a little bit afraid of moving forward, they're still deciding to do something about it. We work on moving past their self-doubt, help them to get clarity on what they want to do, and start to take action so that they can go from where they are today to living the life as the woman they're meant to be.
Awesome. We're glad you're here, Susan. Thank you. Mary Beth and Jennifer.
Good morning, it's Mary Beth, an intuitive animal communicator with another story about Bella. Bella's a little dog, not so little dog, who is fear aggressive, and Donna and I've been working with her. Donna's her person. Scared some ladies off so bad that she wouldn't watch Bella. So we told Bella about going to the vet yesterday, and they said that Bella was an angel, and instead of being all scared in the car, she was hanging on the steering wheel wanting to drive, but Donna says you can't drive till your feet hit the pedals. So she was a happy dog. So thank you.
That's what I have to tell Trixie. I love it. Jennifer, then Pam.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. I'm Jennifer Russman, your business content specialist. I'm here to help you build your business content online. I'm with For You Business Writing here in lovely Central Florida. I'm writing for your blog and your website, creating lead pages for you. Making content is a really big undertaking that many just can't keep up with consistently. So it's all about creating content for you. I'm here to make your life easier. Find me on LinkedIn or voyou.com. Thank you,
Jennifer. Pam, then Suzanne Moore.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. I'm Pam Knox. I'm a business strategist and storyteller. I help women build their businesses by telling their stories. Whether you need strategies or stories, confidence or content, I coach women entrepreneurs to find their voice, to tell their story.
Awesome. Thanks, Pam. Suzanne Moore, then Laura Clark.
Good morning. If you feel as though you just are constantly trying to get things off your to-do list and you're not doing the things that you really need to do to build your business, I would love to connect with you. I love to work with entrepreneurial women to help them figure out what the 2 to 3 things are that they can do to make their businesses shine and up level. I'm Suzanne Moore, and you can find me at suzannetmoore.com.
Thank you, Suzanne. Laura Clark and Susan Shelton.
Yes, good morning, everyone. It's nothing like your motherboard taking a leave of notice on Mother's Day. Yes, I'm on a whole nother PC, an older model I had to go pull out, but it's one of the things that I definitely recommend for all entrepreneurs, being a cloud-based system in your work processes. So I also help not only transform your work days into marrying technology with your business activities, but I also help with making you become a virtually fit office, virtually supporting your office while you do business. Laura Clark, founder of Chief Executive Management, located here in Monroe, New York.
I hope you get a new motherboard.
I totally will.
Susan, then Sherry.
This past year has been something else, and now we're returning to a new normal and searching for gas. There's a lot of stress out there. Good morning, I'm Susan Shelton, and I'm a wellness consultant in Alexandria, Virginia, partnering with USANA to provide the best of the best to support you on your wellness journey. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. Did you know there are supplements out there to support your health and to provide aid during stressful times? Do you know someone who might prefer supplemental support rather than prescriptions? Let's schedule a coffee date. Help could be on the way.
Thank you, Susan. Sherry, then Laura Templeton.
Is your business strutting around like the proverbial emperor with no clothes? Have you left it and you naked and exposed to legal risk and danger? It doesn't have to be that way. You and your business deserve better. Using flat rate and subscription fee models that take the fear out of legal fees, I can help you clothe your business with the contracts, policies, and IP protection that will help you protect your empire. I'm Sherry Andrews, your small business attorney and author of Smooth Sailing, releasing in 4 days, a practical guide to legally protecting your business. Visit me at sherryandrews.com to learn more.
Awesome. Yay, Sherry. Laura, then Kate.
So have you ever witnessed an amazingly confident woman that you absolutely admire totally fall apart when it comes time to speak in public? Have you ever experienced that, or have you ever experienced it yourself? Hi, I'm Laura Templeton, and I'm coming to you from Bradenton, Florida, and I am an international speaker and coach, and I absolutely love helping amazing women find their voice and the words to express who they are with the confidence and clarity that they need. And to be able to connect with your audience on a deep emotional level is so important, especially in this day and age when we're all fighting for the same attention, right? Especially virtually. So if you know of an organization that's looking for a dynamic speaker that can help their audience, their members really connect on a deep and emotional level, connect us today. I'm Laura Templeton with 30 Second Success.
Good job, Laura. Of course, Laura. We hope she does a good job. Kate and Suzanne B.
Do you know someone with a messy desk or 50 tabs open on their computer and in their brain? Well, believe it or not, the solution is not found outside of the chaos. It's actually right there in the chaos, just waiting to be uncovered. Hello, I'm Kate Varness, clarity coach for creative solopreneurs, and I use my 16 years as a professional organizer, a certified coach, and my training as an energy practitioner and in human design to find your natural rhythm and let go of those BS rules you might still be following. Who do you know who wants to break free from the chaos, uncover a system that works for them a long term so that their purpose is brought into the world? Kate Varness at katevarness.com.
Thank you, Kate. Suzanne, then Connie Jo.
Good morning, everyone. Have you ever wished that life came with a roadmap or a set of operating instructions so you knew where to go next? It does, your astrological chart and your inner voice of wisdom. I'm Suzanne Bellavista, and I am a spiritual teacher and astrologer. I work with passionate and sometimes perfectionistic women in transition to help them reconnect to their inner voice of wisdom and the divine wisdom of the natural world around them. The result? You will walk away with a clear vision, a soul-aligned plan, and a flexible set of productivity tools to help you launch your next joyful chapter of life with some self-love and fun sprinkled on top. What's next for you? I'm Suzanne Bellavista, and you can find me in beautiful Western Massachusetts, as well as on the web at soulfullivingproject.com.
Awesome. Thanks, Suzanne. And finally, last but never least, Connie Jo Miller.
You've heard what I do. You know the gist. I take care of your books. They're off your list. Or I can help you get started. You can do them with time. You can do your books right. You'll know they're just fine. Just schedule a call. We'll chat for a few. We'll figure it out. You'll know what to do. I'm Connie Jo Miller of Enigma Bookkeeping Solutions in Atlanta, Georgia. Schedule a call with me today. My link is in the chat box.
That's a good way to end our 30-second introductions right there, ladies. Thank you so much. I forgot to introduce myself, so I'm going to slip that in before we have Jennifer introduce our speaker. I'm Jill Celeste, founder of Virtual Networkers and Celestial University, and author of this little book back here called That First Client. This is the book you want to have if you need to create a reliable marketing system that will always attract clients. It's a small but mighty book, and you can learn more about it at jillceleste.com. So with that, Jennifer, do you mind introducing our speaker? And then Amber, if you could go to about 8:40 a.m., and then we'll open it up for questions.
I am happy to introduce Amber, and I apologize if I don't say this right. Tikanor?
Tishna, like an SH. It's no one gets
I'm
it
sorry,
right.
I can't
You're
hear
good.
you, and I probably should speed along. She has a PhD in IO psychology and is the founder of To Be Coaching and Consulting. She's a thought leader in the topic of women's rivalry and wrote her PhD thesis about it. She consults with organizations, offers speaking engagements and workshops on this important topic, what it means, the importance of the phenomenon, the challenges, behaviors, coping, and recovery steps. Amber's goal is to promote collaboration over competition, to empower women to find their voice, leave their rivalry behind, and team up with a community of like-minded women who are supporting each other to be unstoppable together. You're in the right place, Amber. We love to do that here. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm going to share my screen. I just have a couple of slides. Oh, goodness, view. Oh, why is this not doing this? Oops. No.
If
1
you click on
second.
slideshow.
Yeah, it's not popping up for whatever reason. View as. Well, there it is. Perfect. Thank you. Yes, I'm Amber Tishner, owner of To Be Coaching and Consulting, and I am very happy to be here today with you. And before I dive in, I love this to be an interactive conversation because I learn as much from you as I do from what I'm sharing and telling. And so I get the feeling that you are already an amazing group of women, which I love, which is, my goal when I'm out talking to folks. But I'm going to start out with some of the negative aspects just to highlight what that may look like. And so I have a couple of questions for you. And if any of these apply to you, please hit the emoji button or raise your hand. And at any point, if you want to, I'm not monitoring the chat box, but if you have questions, please don't hesitate to interrupt me because I do definitely want this to be a collaborative interaction. So number one, as a woman, young lady, or girl, think back to your childhood, teenage, college years, or entry into the workforce. Have you ever experienced being left out of a clique or a group of females with usually one female as a queen bee or a ringleader? Have you ever experienced a crazy colleague who is always trying to compete with you and undermine your work? I see some thumbs raised and I see a few, woo, yep. Have you ever experienced a deadly destructive type of friendship? Friends one day and then backstabbing the next. Yeah. Have you ever experienced passive aggressive behavior or rude comments from another female about your looks, clothes, the style of the way you dress? Have you ever experienced social exclusion where you felt left out of a general or broader group of women? So I ask that a lot, and I'm always amazed at the responses because it's very telling. Often there's no one that hasn't felt this to some degree or another. So I did my dissertation on this topic. As an IO psychologist, I had to do something that pertained to the working environment. And I was at a job and I saw this happening, and I saw women just not being kind to one another, and it was swept under the rug. I call it the elephant in the boardroom, and organizations weren't doing anything about it. And so when I began my research, there wasn't really a good definition of what talked about what this phenomenon was. So I came up with my own. Female rivalry is one woman minimizing another woman so they both feel small, smaller than they really are. Female rivalry hurts individuals, teams, and organizations. So I gave a really big workshop, a 3.5-hour workshop on Monday, and a woman raised her hand and she said, please, can you tell me the smaller than they really are, because how does that apply to both women? And I said, well, it does, because usually the woman that's projecting the negative behavior is not feeling good about herself either, which is why she's projecting it. And the woman receiving it is not feeling great because she's on the receiving end. So I thought, oh gosh, now if people are wondering what that means, that I feel like I have to explain it a little bit, but that is my definition. Does anybody have something else they might like to add if you've experienced it or what you think it might mean?
Well, Amber, I'm releasing a book in September called Loud Woman, and I talk a lot about competition among women.
Yeah.
And I 100% agree with your definition here. Another perspective is often, and thanks to our patriarchal structure, we are competing for the same 2 spots at the table.
Yes.
Instead of demanding additional spots or maybe creating a whole new table.
Yeah.
All for itself. And instead of stopping for a second and going, why are we fighting for these 2 spots? Why don't we expand it or do something different? And that I see that dichotomy. I saw that a lot in corporate, but I still see it with entrepreneurs too.
Yes. And I started initially my research, in the working environment, but I then have expanded it to social and family and everyday situations because for women it happens everywhere. So with that, I'll move to the next slide. Thank you, Jill, for your feedback. So what female rivalry looks like. So it's a component of aggressive behavior. It's a broad banner of other behaviors. So I call it female rivalry, but within that, it can be bullying, it can be judging, it can be exclusion. It really is a lot of passive aggressive behaviors that feed into it. There are two main components. It's rivalry and it's competition. And so competition is a little less abrasive, a little bit more kind of a type of behavior. But it stems in aggressive behavior in the sense of not necessarily the physical, but the psychological aggressive types of behaviors. And so a key point of my research is that this type of negative behavior inhibits women from having wonderful sisterhoods and groups of females that uplift and support. So it's comprised of many layers. There is competition, there's envy, and there's jealousy. And competition is pretty benign. I actually think that you can have wonderful positive competition that can elevate you and push you to do better and push your groups to do better. And that's healthy until it gets to the point that it's not. And then envy comes in. And that's, I call it when healthy competition gets an edge, because the little ugly feelings are starting to come over and take control a little bit. And it's not always bad either. And then until it escalates to a full-on jealousy. And that is, you have something I want, and I want it, or I want you out of the picture for it. So that is extremely unhealthy when it escalates to that level. So it's also, there are several layers and many personas. So I mentioned some of them. There's the queen bee, there's backstabbing, there's cliques, there's exclusion. Gaslighting is a huge form of this behavior. A guy's girl, I like to call a vicious vixen. That's one of them. And then there's frenemy. So, and within frenemy, there's a whole bunch of different personas as well and layers. The key thing for women with this, it is completely unbiased. It does not discriminate. It doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter the color of your skin. It doesn't matter what car you drive. For women, this is an ongoing behavior. And it's very rare that I have met somebody that hasn't encountered a little bit of what this looks like at some point in their life. Any thoughts or questions about this? And I know I have a young daughter, and I remember going back, gosh, probably one of my earlier memories of when I first encountered this in grade school was 3rd or 4th grade. But does anybody have a story like that, or can you relate to it happening at a very young age? I see some heads nodding. Yeah, unfortunately, it.
Hey, Amber, I had an experience where I was working with somebody in a deep collaborative way, and we were working really well together. And then all of a sudden, like that, the hair on the back of your neck starts to stand up when weird things started happening. And then I started getting people that knew me, loved me, and cared for me were telling me that things were happening behind the scenes. So it's weird because it was almost like it was a really good collaborative relationship, but there was this underlying current that started to happen the deeper we got into this relationship. And then I had to figure out how to withdraw myself from it, which was really hard.
And I'm sure there are so many other feelings that come with that, because this was somebody that you have a relationship, you trust her, you like her, she's your friend. I am a huge advocate of listening to that inner whisper, because that is definitely your body and your gut telling you something. And you may never know what she had against you to have her behavior turn, but chances are there was some envy or jealousy of you. And that's all on her. That's not your behavior. It's how she's choosing to react, but it certainly doesn't make you feel good as the recipient.
It's weird because even now, when I do have interactions with her, I still I'm very reserved, and I almost feel like I hold back.
Yeah, I bet you do. And I bet, have you ever thought about asking her about it, or have you ever done that?
No, I haven't.
See, it would be interesting to see if she would deny it, because I think often, I think some women blatantly know what they are doing, and that's just who they are. I think it's very rare that somebody is doing it ongoing and they're not realizing how they are behaving. But chances are she would probably deny it if you confront her. That's just my gut. I could be wrong, but I would be surprised if she would say, yeah, sure. Probably not going to do that. So why I get this question so much, which kind of just goes to what you had mentioned, why do women act this way towards each other? So when I first started doing my research, there was not a lot of information out there. And in fact, if you could believe it, I came across this little tidbit. I hope I get it right. In the 60s, I can't remember who the researcher was. It was believed that women were not aggressive at all. And that was not that long ago. It was believed that women did not have aggressive behaviors in them, which is, we equally do as men do. So men and women are just different. So what I did stumble across is social intelligence. So as young children, boys and girls all have the same type of aggressive behavior in them. And about the age of 6, 7, maybe 8, little girls start to develop social intelligence a few years earlier than boys do. And with this comes the ability to have the passive aggressive and the internal, aggressive behaviors. And so that is how it tweaks for women or girls, and where the divide sort of begins. And there's also society. Women are taught, or little girls, you're taught to sit still and look pretty and be nice, and little boys can go out in the yard and rough and tumble it up. But it's not ladylike to act that way. And so society has definitely, I think this may be changing, I hope, but society has definitely endorsed, how women behave and grow over the years. Society endorses it in other ways. Who's ever heard of, oh, well, it's just a cat fight? Or those women, they're just being dramatic. You look at some of the movies or TV shows, a lot of the reality shows have women pivoting themselves against each other. And it's supposed to be funny, it's comedy. But really, is it? It's not. And especially if somebody has endured it for a long period of time, it escalates into a bullying type of situation. It's certainly not funny at all. In fact, it can be quite the opposite. I'm certainly not somebody that could label if somebody has post-traumatic stress disorder, but I have talked to so many women and gotten their stories, hundreds of women, and I would guarantee that some of them that have gone through this would relate this type of behavior to a PTSD type of situation. It's about identity and internal drivers. So women tend to judge ourselves based on the image of what she is doing or what her life looks like. So we see ourselves often tied to the perception of another woman. That could be a family member, that could be a friend, that could be your mother, sister, or colleague. And it's about identity. The other key factors, it is driven often by, usually if you are a target, chances are you have nothing to do with why somebody is targeting you. It stems from low self-esteem, the need for control, insecurity, or jealousy. And it can be a learned behavior. It can be an environment. I believe at the beginning we mentioned, there's less room at the top, and that environment might push you to have more competition, or just even general growing up with the belief that you're never good enough. And so that contributes to how you feel about yourself. Any other thoughts as to why women might act this way toward each other?
I have a thought. I feel like women aren't allowed to have direct communication. That men are allowed to, if they're upset, they say directly, they use language, but women aren't allowed to use language. And so they have to indirectly find ways to have power.
Yes.
And that is from a very, very young age. And it's gets pretty ingrained.
It is ingrained. And even just thinking back, looking at in politics, I remember, and like if women that are running in politics, if they are vocal and more forthright in acknowledging some of the issues that men may be acknowledging, they're called the B word, because that's just not ladylike, or it's not pretty. And how dare they, address something like that in not a gentle voice or a kind manner. Well, some of those topics don't need that tone. They need a little more force behind them. So it is, yes, I agree with you. And here's an example I give. If men are direct with each other, maybe belting it out in the boardroom, well, Bob, I don't like how you handled that. And Jim, blah, 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 and they're at each other's throat. An hour later, they could be on the golf course having a beer with each other, and it's forgotten about and they've moved on. But with women, we don't get it out often. And so it's back here. You're kind of remembering it. You're thinking on it. You're sitting on it. And so it doesn't really go away. The thing with this behavior, it makes you feel small. It's often so intangible, and you will question, like, she didn't do that to me. Why would she? I haven't done anything to her, so you doubt yourself. It can make you fearful, especially if it's occurring in a work environment and your job may be in jeopardy. And it's just really not talked about. Any other thoughts or questions?
Yes, Amber, it's Margaret here. I was president of an organization, and in the woman that was coming in as president-elect in that year. Previous years, we had worked together on committees. We had been very friendly. She invited me to events and things, but it was interesting that the year I became president and started implementing some of the things that had been discussed within the organization, it was just really weird, as similar to what Laura said, things going on behind my back. And it was where she would go to other people within the organization and undermine what I was doing, and tell people, no, she really doesn't want you to do that. She's just blah, 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 whatever was on there. So it was interesting in the fact that finally it became known, and they called a special board meeting. And so to ask her to resign.
Yeah.
Because she'd been pinging all kinds of people, undermining everybody. And so, but when she got there and they asked, her what she wanted to say, all of a sudden she's giving out her whole plan for the year she's going to be president. And half of the things that I had planned that she'd been, pushing back, that she didn't want me to do. And she was going to incorporate them. Well, the board ended up removing her from the board. It had never been done ever in this organization. And so I would still see her in different meetings in different organizations. And so for a long time, I just never spoke to her. But in the meantime, I said, this is about her. It's not about me. I don't know where it came from. And I had the opportunity to speak to her. And I said, look, I don't know what went on in your life and that brought you to act this way.
Mm-hmm.
I feel very sad for you.
Yeah. How did she respond?
She just looked at me like she had no response.
Yeah.
Because she knew she was wrong.
Yeah.
And I had heard later on she'd been doing this in other organizations as well.
Yeah.
So it was, yeah, pretty sad situation for her.
Yeah, I'm sorry you experienced that, but good for you for saying something to her. That's hard to do as well. Tracy, I see you have a question.
Yes. In your study, in your work, I'm curious through the generations now, because some of us are older, we've learned, but the children and the grandchildren now, I feel so sorry for some of the children who are having to deal with, before the bullying was done face to face. And now it's done, through social media and everything. Did your studies, did your work, have you been able to address that for the younger people as well?
I do. In fact, I do quite a few mother-daughter workshops where I'm talking to all ages of young women, because I call it keyboard courage. It's when somebody can hide behind a keyboard and you can say very shameful things and you're not saying them direct. So it's, again, another very passive aggressive behavior, but it's so hurtful and it can lead to really bad we've all seen it in the news of different things that have happened. So we talk a lot about it in my house. We try to really monitor what my daughter now is 12 and my son is 10, but monitor, what types of social media or, technology they have access to. But again, really just talking about behaviors as a whole, being kind, always be kind. It doesn't mean you're going to be best friends with everybody, but being kind and inclusive, and really knowing, because we've this year dealt with some mean girl behaviors at her school, even though it's hard, trying to understand that she has control over her behavior and you do not. And so that's a hard lesson to learn at any age, I know, but it's especially so hard when they're that young and trying to find their voice, and be who they're going to be. So thank you for bringing that up. It's, the social media terrifies me at that age. So I know we just have a couple more minutes, so I'll dive in. Changing the behavior. So this is a big one. I don't think this applies to this group at all, but when I wrote in my book, it's always just good to look inward. Are you contributing to anything that might be, are you doing anything that might contribute to this behavior? Chances are you absolutely are not, but just take a look about how you might be coming across, and how you're being perceived. Practice the pause. Pause before you react. Pause before you respond to an email. Pause before you say anything and just sit on it for a moment and let it resonate with you. And if you wake up in the morning and still feel that strongly about something, then you can say it. But chances are, if the heat goes down a little bit about something. Another one is a big one I like to talk about is your own inner she bully, that little voice that's always back here telling you you're not good enough, or you can't do this, or you can't do that. If you are saying that to yourself, that might show other people, you might not be exuding confidence. And one of my key points is confident women love women. And so you have to like yourself, and that's just key. So look inward, shut that voice down and tell her to go away, because she doesn't need to be there in the first place. So, and change your mindset. So if you have been, and this is a hard one, if you have been the target of this type of behavior, try to move forward and don't become the victim of it. Take what you can, like Margaret had mentioned, and then learn from it and know that that's not how you want to treat other women or other people, and share. And then, so working together, it's being an includer, establishing community and advocating inclusion. And I think with all of that, there's a transparency of communication. Talk about this behavior. Ramifications, put those in place if a behavior occurs. I'm a big believer of using humor. If you see it, or if it happens to you, you can joke, well, Jill,
Looks like maybe Amber lost her internet connection there for a second. Let's give her a moment to come back because I want to know what she's going to say about me.
No, I wanted to know the joke or the humor. Yeah.
It was a heck of a pause.
Yeah, that is practicing the pause right there.
What?
Oh,
She
dear.
said my name. What?
Oh my God, that's so funny.
That is funny.
Oh,
Maybe the joke is being silent. I
Yeah.
always say crazy needs crickets. Don't engage.
Yes, don't engage.
Oh, I like that. Crazy needs crickets. That's a good one.
I hope she pops right back in. Let's give her a second. There she
There
is.
she is.
I was like, oh, I just disappeared. I was saying, as Margaret said, I totally lost my train of thought. Oh, using that behavior and within the organization that she talked about, that woman was removed from the board. So that's, getting rid of the negativity so it's not being endorsed.
Yeah.
Amber, you were talking about using humor.
Yeah, we all wanted to hear what to say.
Oh, you were all paused waiting for the joke.
I said it like, well, Jill, I know you didn't mean to say that to me. Maybe, are you sure I heard that correctly? Or, different ways to lightly use a little bit of humor, but call it out in a way that that she knows you're hearing her and you're addressing it. You're not going to stoop down to her level, but you're going to let her know you also won't tolerate it. So big fan of humor. And then I think that was, I had one more little slide to share. I'll put that back on, and then I will open it up for questions. Slideshow. Okay. This is how to follow me, and this is my book. It's called Behind Frenemy Lines: Rising Above Female Rivalry to Be Unstoppable Together. And so it's for sale, or its pre-orders are available now on Amazon, and it will be released in bookstores in November and available as an ebook, I believe, in August. So, and I should, if all goes well, have copies to also sell next month. So anyhow, I would love to hear some of your thoughts or answer any questions, and let's open it up for some discussion.
Question, Amber. What struck me is your use of the word rivalry, because when I think of the word rivalry, it's like competition between two people. And whereas when I relate to when this situation's come up, it was more of a bullying. And I'm just wondering, what that defining line is, because I used to think that, I had a situation with a boss.
Yeah.
And to me, it was like the epitome of the bully boss. However, the, vicious vixen probably would have been a good nomenclature for her too. But yeah, and I just kept thinking it's just like, that I wasn't participating in it, but yet it just like you had to show up every day. And when I didn't engage in it and I was mispleasant and I did my work and showed up authentically and just, not engaging, it just pissed her off even more.
I'm sure it did. I'm sure it lit her up. And that's a fine line. And it's so hard, especially in a working environment. And she has some sort of control or say in your pay or your advancement. So I call it bullying and rivalry because that's initially how it will start. But as you have said, and as I've talked to so many women, when it escalates and if it's ongoing, it's a full-on bullying situation. And I guarantee you, she certainly knows what she's doing, and she probably wanted you out of there.
She did. She was very successful. She achieved that.
Yes, and so I've experienced that too. I experienced it after I did all my dissertation and I had it happen to me and I was clueless. And my mom called it out and said, I hate to see you doubt yourself because of this other woman. I walked in and quit and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I was like, had this big light bulb on the top of my head, but that's how I pivoted and started doing what I'm doing now, because I thought, my goodness, if I've studied this for years and collected these interviews and I know it as well as I do, but I didn't see it because I was in it, and I lost my voice, and I felt gray, and I felt like I was full of self-doubt. What is it doing to other women who don't have any insight to this horrible, nasty behavior? So yeah, it can shake you to the core. It's bad.
Yeah, and kudos to you. And that's how I got on my finding your voice journey as well, and writing a book about it, because it just, you lived it and then you learned from it. And it took me a long time to find that voice again. So
Yeah, well, good for you. I'm glad that you were able to also pivot and learn from it, even though it's a hard one to go through.
yeah, but I thought that's my journey now to share it with others. So that's, this was fascinating. Thank you.
Thank you.
Amber, what's the name of your book?
It's called Behind Frenemy Lines, Rising Above Female Rivalry to Be Unstoppable Together.
So what if your second book could target helping girls with this? And when my daughter was in 5th grade and things were awful, I thought there should be a board game where you get like life, you know, where you get like rewarded for certain behaviors or penalized. I mean, the parents who would buy that for their girls are likely not, this is not the bullies, you'd probably, but to give insight and skills and help to that understanding.
That's such a fun idea. I mean, a fun idea about an awful topic, but it does help to highlight. And I think it's an insidious type of behavior, but what makes it harder now with the social media and all of the technology, it's hidden. And so often women, girls, they don't talk about it when you're in it because you do feel shame associated with it. And so it's teaching, so they might not mention it. And so something where they can draw it out and have this aha that that's not normal behavior. I think that's a lovely
Making
thing.
implicit explicit.
Yes.
Yeah, which is where the power is.
Yep.
And you're perfectly positioned to bring that information.
Well, I will collaborate with you when I do.
No, not me. Not me. If you find funds, you can do it. Child psychologist, maybe.
Yeah, I love it. Ladies, I'm going to have to stop the questions. So I could go on forever talking about this topic, but I do need to shift us over to announcements. Amber, thank you so much for that enlightening presentation. You'll still hear some more feedback as we go around the room, but I just wanted to thank you again. We're going to shift now to announcements. So if this is your opportunity, if you are a member of this chapter or another chapter of Virtual Networkers, we will do a verbal announcement. You have to choose, though. You can either announce something you're promoting or need a referral, or a shout out, because we got a lot of people and we got to go quickly through these. Feel free to use the chat box for anything else that you can't mention, or if you want to put links in there. Amber, feel free to put any links in the chat box, maybe to your book. All of that will go out to everybody once we're done. So I'll start us off and then I'll have Pam go. So I just want to give a shout out to those ladies who couldn't join us today. Our Europeans on holiday, so Rachel and Anne and Hannah, hope you're having a good time. Stacy's hanging out, doing, I forget what she's doing. Marilyn's taking care of her dad. Please send Marilyn's dad some healing love. He just got out of the hospital. And Debbie is preparing for a panel, so wanted to take some time for herself. Reminder on some calendar items. Next Friday, our meeting will be a business mastermind. I'm going to do it a little bit differently, but here's what I just need you to know. Bring your business-related question, whatever that is. Just bring it, and then I'll take it from there. We do not have a meeting on May 28th, which is the Friday after Memorial Day. And finally, save the date for Tuesday, June 15th, 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. We're going to have a virtual coffee party extravaganza. We're going to all meet and do virtual coffee dates. So hopefully you can network with some women, guests, and virtual networkers who perhaps you haven't had the pleasure of meeting before. So again, that's June 15th, starting at 11 a.m. Eastern. With that, I'll have Pam go and then Judy King.
Yes, I would like to, I'd like to continue this conversation. So I'm going to open up a Zoom conversation and invite you all to have that conversation with me. And if you'd like to be part of that, just reach out to me. My contact information is in the chat. So thank you, Amber, and all you powerful ladies here. Have a great day.
Thanks, Pam. I love that you're going to continue it. Judy, then Laura Templeton.
Sorry, writing a note about Pam. That was a great presentation. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Shout out to Tracy. Thank you so much for referring your friend to me. I really appreciate that.
Thank you. Love that. Laura, then Kelly.
Thank you so much, Amber. This was an amazing topic, and I really appreciate you sharing your brilliance with us. So it's always beneficial to hear from a different perspective, especially when you start shaking your head. Yes, I've been through this. So everybody knows I'm the Wednesday chapter leader, and this coming week, Mary Beth Decker is going to be speaking to our group. The following week, we have coffee dates. Everybody's invited. Bring your friends. Can't wait to hear from Mary Beth. And my personal ask is I am looking for more speaking opportunities. So if you know of an organization that loves to bring dynamic speakers to their members, especially when it comes to training and helping them understand the benefits of being a better communicator, please connect us. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Laura. Kelly, then Donna.
Amber, I've been so blessed to watch you in the process of writing the book and just to be able to share time with you. I'm looking forward to seeing you very soon. Thank you for being here this morning. And shout out to Laura Clark, who is helping me find those systems, setting things up. She must feel like it's pulling teeth. But she is tremendously patient with me and helping me think about things I hadn't even thought of. So I appreciate Laura's help. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks, Kelly. Donna, then Tracy.
Just a quick shout out. Thank you to Mary Beth Decker. We had a wonderful little Zoom call yesterday. Thank you for being your genuine, beautiful self. Thank you.
Love that. Tracy, then Margaret.
Yes. Thank you, Judy. I'm glad that you were able to connect with her. I hope that'll be good. And I'm happy to say that I finally got my book back because as soon as I bought it, I shared it with somebody else that needed it right at the start. And I finally got it back. So now I get to read it, Jill.
Yay! Thank you, Tracy. Thank you for
Thank you, Amber.
I love it. Margaret, then Susan Driscoll.
Again, Amber, thank you so much. Yes, I think we could have had a 3-hour or half a day conversation here with this. I appreciate it. Perfect time to buy The Chatter That Matters. Your words are your power. We talk about self-talk in there, boundaries, and an example of my daughter's 8th grade bullying situation. So I'll be putting the information in the chat. You can always buy it at my website and or on Amazon and Barnes & Noble website. Thank you. Have a great week.
Susan, then Mary Beth.
Thank you so much, Amber. It was fascinating. And thank you everyone here because it really reminded me how lucky I feel being in a group that's so inclusive. And Jill, I know that has a lot to do with you. So thank you both. I have an ask this week. I am enrolling people right now for my program Emergence, which is for women who have a special project, goal, or dream that they want to start taking action on. And so that they can start living as the women they're meant to be. I'll put the link in the chat. Thank you.
Thanks, Susan. Mary Beth and Jennifer.
Amber, your talk really hit a lot of points. Oh my goodness. So I'm working to not be the sniper. You know, I've been on the other end and I've tried to stop the behavior on my own. Thank you. I've been working on putting videos up on my YouTube channel, so I'd love if you check it out, subscribe, and if there's a video you like, share it. Would you please? Thank you.
Great ask. Thank you. Jennifer, then Suzanne Moore.
I don't really have a shout or an announcement today, but of course, Amber, thank you so much for being here. I know everybody keeps going on, so you've heard it already, but it's a great topic. I grew up in the 70s and 80s, and I've talked to my mom about it, and she says, they were really encouraged to stay out of it as parents. And now, helicoptering is encouraged. And before it was like, they'll figure it out, girls will be girls. And, now we got another Me Too movement, don't we? So thank you. It's a powerful message and all the good work you do. Have a great weekend.
Have a good weekend too. Suzanne, then Laura Clark.
Amber, I loved that presentation, and I think probably all of us could spend an hour telling our story about our own experience and how we were just ripped apart by it at some point in our lives. And one of the things that I found most profound about your presentation were was the stuff that was on the side strip on the right hand side. So lovely. The second one that was about the ability of women when they do choose to come together. Really, like, I was trying to hold back tears. So thank you. That was wonderful. I really appreciate it. And have a great weekend, ladies.
Thank you, Suzanne. Laura, then Susan Shelton.
Yes, I kind of second with Suzanne Moore, Amber, about the side quotes you had on there. They're perfect for tweets perhaps that you have in mind. I think they're really great. And it's also another great reminder for my young one as well. We instill in her about having a perfect understanding of her own identity so that when anyone has an adverse about that, she knows how to handle that. So that's really great. Another line to go forward with young people. So thank you so much for your presentation. And everyone, have a great weekend. No S this week. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Susan, then Sherry.
Amber, I echo what we've said here, what we've heard here. Great presentation. You brought back a flood of memories, some of around my high school years, some of them around my corporate environment that I was in. And, you know, again, those sidebar comments that you had were very powerful. But a great presentation. Thank you for being here, really. I put a couple of recognitions in the chat box already. Just a reminder, supplementation can be your first line of defense in your health journey. And I invite you to check out my website. We have pure, clean products that can help you through most situations in your life and help you on your health journey. So I'll put my website in there, and I'd love to do a coffee date. Have a great week.
Thank you, Susan. Sherry, then Suzanne B.
Echoing everything that everyone has already said, thank you, Amber, so much for a very powerful presentation. I know we could all talk about this for weeks, but today I want to talk about my book, 4 days. 4 days. Did I say 4 days? I put the link in the chat for the party, which is Tuesday at 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern on Zoom. And I hope you will all come and join me in celebrating. If you already have the book, if you were a pre-order, please leave me a review on Amazon. That would help me out greatly. And if you haven't ordered it and you were thinking about it, please order it on the 18th. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Yay, Sherry. All right, Suzanne, then Kate.
Hey, everyone. So this week, I would love to do a shout out for Connie Joe. In addition to loving her poetry every week, I have now engaged in her startup package, and I've done week 2. And I wanted to share with you guys why I committed to this, because I think it's inspiring for you all as well who haven't done this yet. One of the reasons I'm doing this is because I want to empower myself down the line. If I ever want to get a business loan or even a personal loan, I have my own business and I need to prove that I am financially viable. So I feel like this is a very empowering thing I'm doing for myself. Also, immediately just seeing where my money is going for my expenses is very, very eye-opening and has an impact in trying to get me to be more parsimonious with my money. And then lastly, also this idea of paying myself. I have been using my income, but I haven't been properly doing it. And so this concept of I'm going to pay myself, again, I'm really motivated to make more money. So those are some of the benefits I'm feeling are great about engaging in bookkeeping. So thank you, Connie Joe. We're halfway there. And I encourage everyone to look into her startup package. Have a great weekend.
Woo, what a testimonial. Goodness. Kate, then Connie Joe.
Well, what you track is what grows, right?
Yes.
So today this is book day, apparently. I have a twofer, and both of these asks are courtesy of my collaboration with people in this group. So the first thing is to go to my website and check it out. Go to the link that I put, the About page, scroll down and buy my book, Who Am I Now? Realign Your Home and Life, which is about life transitions that happen in the second half of life. There's case studies such as, are you the recipient of the downsizing dump? Do you have too many books and you don't know how to sort through them? So it answers a lot of different questions. People have given me feedback that it's been very helpful for them, and then they give it to their parents. So yeah, so go check it out and check out my new website. Whoop, whoop.
Check it out. All right, Connie Jo.
Thank you, Suzanne. That warms my heart. And thank you, Amber. I just wanted to say this kind of behavior can come out of nowhere. My daughter's a rock climber. She showed up at the gym a few weeks ago, and this other woman climber just zeroed in on her and just was awful to her for no reason. She came home in tears, and I just kept saying, this had nothing to do with you. This had nothing to do with you. You were just the person that was there. So that's just so important that we keep that in our heads. When women act like this, it's nothing to do with you. And I want to invite everyone to Monday's chapter of Virtual Networkers. We're going to have Sherry Stein as our speaker. She's talking about using color in the workplace to increase productivity and creativity. So I'd love to see you all there. The Zoom link is in the chat box. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Awesome. Well, ladies, what a great meeting. Amber, thank you again. Come back and visit us anytime. We would love to have you. And I will be zipping all of this up and look for your email here shortly. I hope you have a great weekend. I'll see you all next week.
Thank
Bye,
you all very
everyone.
much. Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a great weekend.